It's a great pleasure to have you again this morning for yet another webinar. And for us from the Secretariat, we have found value in just bringing different expertise to be able to talk to you, from the comfort of your office. And that's why these webinars are very, very important. And I'm happy that this morning to be officiating this opening of the webinar that we are doing together with Britam. As many of you are aware, Britam has been our partners for a number of years. Again, last year they formally joined the membership of KATA, which makes the conversations a bit easier with them. We are continuously engaging with them with the intention of discussing, products that actually will be meaningful to you as members. And this partnership is not only just for purposes of educating and also sharing what information you have. We are also discussing with Britam, very, very specific products that we can be able to develop that will benefit you members directly. For those that have been in business long, we had DIP here, and we've been struggling even to just get partners that can be able to support us with a similar product, because we believe that we need to be able to have that product. So for us, this partnership with Britam, I hope they will also be able to understand our business deeply, and they will be able then to develop and design products that are meant to support your business. But above all, I think what we did agree with them is that as a start, it is always good to scan around our environment and see what are some of the outlooks that are here. What is the business outlook? There's lots of challenges, honestly, that we are facing as an industry, and one of them is the issue of cyber, just cyber crime and with this data protection. So Simon, from our discussions, we really need to see what are some of the products we can craft. And I'll be happy for us to agree on a product that is KATA specific. How do we protect ourselves from digital attacks? Now we are processing data because we are now data handlers. There's an exposure there, in terms of breaches that happen when we are handling this data. How protected are we, to be able to cover ourselves? So I hope this will just be the beginning of that conversation, and we can advance this conversation. Perhaps I will let the members be able to share their exact thoughts. But I'll also hand over to you. I know over and above travel insurance, you also have other products that actually our members could benefit from. And there's a reason why we come together as an association to be able to offer a platform that actually our members can access some of these products at better rates. And I hope that once you run them through the offering you have, always available to be able to engage and negotiate on their behalf, so that some of these products can service them. And when you look at how the industry is evolving, I think we are seeing more and more newer players coming into play. Some of them are smaller, that they do not have the muscle to be able to consume, the products that actually require the numbers. But we are here to be able to provide a platform that can congregate them. And so if there are products that will require, numbers, then that number will be provided by KATA so that we can support these businesses. So with those few remarks, I want to invite you, Simon. Perhaps, I don't know whether you are with your teams. You can introduce them and then take it over from here. Over to you, Simon.
Thank you, CEO Nicanor, for the opening remark. Can you hear me loud and clear? Super. Yes, thank you also KATA members for honoring this webinar. I promise we'll just take an hour. We ask you to be extremely attentive. I am not alone in this conversation. I would want to introduce my team members who are on this call. I would ask them to put on their videos and just wave. We have George Junge, investment manager, who will highlight on some of the elements to do with investments. Thanks, George. We have Moses Kabai, who heads our operation unit. Thank you, Moses. We have Steffi Mugalo, who supports us with partnership. Steffi, you can wave and say hi. Yeah, I think we have Grace, who supports our marketing. Grace, you can log in and just say hi. Thank you, Tim. So I think that's the team we have for today. So allow me to share some of the sentiments that we've prepared for KATA today. And then we can take it up from there. Please confirm you can see my screen. Felix?
Yes, we can see.
Super. So I'll start with the introduction. So our agenda for the day will only highlight these 4 topics. We'll start with the introduction, go to a bit of market outlook where we'll tell you how the economy performs and our expectation for the economy for the rest of the year, because we know this largely affects the business that you do as travel agents. Then we shall look at the opportunities that we see in the market as far as travel is concerned. And then we shall highlight some of the solutions that Britam offers, which we feel are relevant for KATA members. And we appreciate the sentiments from the CEO that we're also working on something that we can be able to give to the KATA members. Then from there, we shall have a session for question and answers. Please be very attentive. We shall give some good giveaways. We have a few questions that we shall run through a quiz after the end of the presentation so that members can enjoy some amazing incentives. So Britam, just to give a snapshot, we are a company that is based in Kenya. Our purpose is safeguarding dreams and operation. Our vision is to be the leading diversified financial services company in the markets that we operate here in Africa. Our mission is providing you with financial solutions every step of the way. And our key value is accountability, trust, agility, and customer, putting the customer first in everything that we do. So we operate in 7 markets within Africa, that is Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Malawi, Rwanda, Mozambique, and South Sudan. And we are, God willing, looking to get into some new markets in the next few years within, just to segment our position within this market. Then our solutions that we offer to the market are a blend of solutions from life insurance solutions, investment solutions through our Britam Asset Management Unit, health solutions, micro insurance solutions for the segments that feel that the traditional products are quite expensive. We have a micro insurance arms that provides affordable insurance solutions for the market. We also have a property wing that manages property and deals with property elements. And last but not least, general insurance. That is just to give you a snippet of what we do in terms of managing investments and insurance offerings. But at this point, just not to allow us to delve into the market dynamics, I will want to invite my colleague George Junge, who is going to take us through our investments, offering the market outlook. He will talk about inflation, exchange rate, and how we expect the economy to fare. George, karibu sana.
Thank you, Simon, and good morning, everyone. My name is George Njunge. I head the investment team at Britam Asset Managers, and I just want to take you in brief through what we call the investment environment. So when we are looking at where our good returns come from and try to see, beyond what is on the next curve, we should be able to look at the various factors, what we call the various things that drive the returns that we see. And these, they may have a bit of a tough name as macroeconomic indicators, but yeah, basically it's the investment environment. And what we look at is the economy as a whole. So we look at it from top down, things which affect everyone, and then try to narrow down to things which will affect, specific funds or specific industries, and so on. Looking at the economy as a whole, this is usually measured through GDP, which in brief is just the level of economic activity in the country, how much money is circulating, how many deals are being done. So the most recent data from Kenya National Bureau of Statistics show that we've been growing at that range of about 5% for the last few years. I think after COVID and then the recovery from COVID, we've been at around that point. The most recent is for full year 2024, where we grew by 4.7%. This was mainly affected by high interest rates. Most recent is third quarter of last year, which is July to September of 2025, where the growth was 4.9. What we see as the highlights were the agricultural sector. It expanded by 3.2%. Still a good rate, but a bit slower than the quarters before. And we know the rains have not been as consistent as they have been before. We know November, the rains were not so good, January, and so on. One of the other highlights is accommodation and food service sector, and I know KATA members are very conversant with this, where it grew by 17.7%. So this was very high rate of growth if you compare it with the economies as a whole or the agricultural sector. But it had grown even faster at about 23% the same time last year. So some of the factors which push this up is, of course, international visitor arrivals, which were almost 10% higher if you compare the same period last year. And of course, we know there has been a lot of growth in domestic tourism. People taking trips to Naivasha, to Nanyuki, Isiolo, Marsabit. There has been a lot of domestic tourism, I think, for the whole of these 2020s since the COVID restrictions were lifted. So going forward, what do we expect? For the economy as a whole, we see Kenya has been getting some credit ratings approvals by S&P, Moody's, and so on. They are saying that our economy is strong, so we don't expect the situation has happened in 2023, where there was a bit of anxiety and it led to the weakening of the shilling against the dollar. So other than that, we expect between 4 and 5% overall economic growth. The other thing we look at next is inflation, and this is basically the general rise in the price of goods. So we take a sample basket of goods and we look at how much were these goods 12 months ago, how much are these goods now. And what we see is that inflation has been generally low. It's been between 2.5 and 5% for quite a long time, over the last 6-7 months. And in our context, in the African context, this is very healthy. We know of other countries, actually, other countries where Britam has subsidiaries, where inflation is 20%, 30%, and this is usually very tough on businesses. It's usually very tough on anyone even holding that local currency, because whatever you bought at 1,000 by the end of the year, you'll probably need 1,300 just to buy the same exact thing. So we see fuel inflation has been stable, again supported by a stable currency, and the food prices have been relatively stable. Just a bit of movement, especially from fresh produce, fresh vegetables, which you can't be able to store. So once there is plenty, the price drops. Once there's a bit of scarcity, the price goes up. Next, we look at the currency. And I'm sure this is something, KATA members are very conversant with. We see that, the currency, especially against the dollar, has been quite stable. If you are to look at that blue line from about June of 2024, so that is, the last 18 months, it's been so flat, it looks like it was drawn using a ruler. So after that anxiety about the repayment of Eurobond, which caused the shilling to depreciate in 2023, or put it another way, caused the dollar to go up against the shilling in 2023, once the Eurobond was repaid, then there has been that stability. The stability is supported by high levels of forex reserves. So we've seen in the year 2025, our reserves have grown from $9.2 billion to $12.2 billion. So the central bank has high levels of forex reserve or reserves in hard currency, which means they can be able to meet the expected demand over the next 4, 5, 6 months. And what usually raises that rate is when there is some unexpectedly high demand and it somewhat overwhelms the supply. So one of the things we are looking at in relation with this is, of course, the level of remittances. So they were good in 2025, but they only grew by about 2% over the previous year. And we've seen some indications in January this year that remittances may not be as high as before. Again, maybe related to the Trump tariffs. Trump wants to impose a 1% tariff on remittances. So people may not be wanting to pay that. People may not even be wanting to be tracked by the government in terms of where they are sending their money. So, but the only decline we've seen in January has been very minor, but it's something that we are monitoring. So going forward, we expect more stability given the high levels of reserve, given our balance of trade has been healthy, and so on. Then finally, looking at interest rates. So if we look at the 91-day Treasury bill, this has declined by a huge margin. It was around 16% sometime last year, maybe towards the second half of last year. Then it has fallen quite drastically. Currently, it's about 7.7%, so it's less than half of what it was, maybe 18 months ago, 1.5 years ago. So going forward, we expect, a bit more stagnation. It might drop, but not by such a large margin. So we expect a bit more stagnation. And then as we get closer to the elections, we might see, the interest rates going up. What usually pushes these, just like everything else, is demand and supply. And we've seen from the initial draft of the upcoming budget estimate is the government was to borrow $1 trillion from the local market. So that might push the interest rates a bit high, but for the time being, we expect gradual decline and maybe a bit of stagnation. One positive thing about low interest rates is they encourage business activity. They encourage people to borrow, they encourage people to spend, to expand their business, to buy cars, to take loans, holiday loans, all these things, which is usually good for the economy. Anything which increases movement of money in the economy is usually positive. So Simon, maybe let me stop there and let you proceed with the rest of the presentation. Simon, you are on mute.
Thanks, George, for the presentation. I think you've factored on the key highlights in terms of the economy. I think next we shall proceed to looking at the key market dynamics, which will be covered by my colleague Moses Kapai. Moses, over.
Thank you, Simon, and good morning, everyone. Happy to be part of this discussion. I work closely with Simon, and I'll be taking you through the outlook in terms of the opportunity in the business that you are in as a travel agent. So we've tried to analyze some data here, and they say there's always something in the data, and data doesn't lie. If you make good use of it, you can always find opportunities, and especially business opportunity for you in the integrities, or rather the small things that are in that data. As you can see from the slide, Simon, gonna move to the next slide. I tried to I've been speaking. Hope, am I audible? Someone can confirm.
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. I think I was talking. I don't know whether Simon was listening. But we have analyzed some data just to give a bit of just to show you where the opportunity is in terms of the business that you are operating in. Simon, you can move to the next slide. Be proceeding as he does that. But we've seen a lot of international visitors coming into the country, and for 2025, this is a bit of a projection at around 3 million visitors coming into the country, and this number is expected to grow further moving 2026, 2027, despite the issues as a country that we'll be having at that time. We've as well seen an increase in the total number of visitors, and what I mean here is of all the tourists who came into the country, the number of days that they stayed in the country, we've seen that as well grow from 17 million in 2023 to around 21 million in 2025. So this one says there's a big opportunity for people who come into the country. We've as well seen the number of visits happening at the national park increasing. You can see 3.38 in 2024 to around 4 million thereabouts in 2025. So this means we have probably a lot of internal domestic travel, or people coming for the safaris here in the country, for tourism, we put it that way. So it's still an opportunity for us. And also when we dig deeper in terms of revenues, you've seen like for 2024 at 453p revenue, but in 2025 this is expected to triple to around 1.2 trillion. And I think this is a major shift. This is where the money is. Spending more, that would be one of the scenarios. And so it means even this money is being injected into the economy as well, which is a plus. And they always say that money and visitors have one thing in common, that they never stay long enough as you expect. We've as well done analysis on the bed nights that we do have, probably 2025 not yet, but for 2024 you can see it's at 10.2 million, but the capacity that is there is around 35 million. So meaning the capacity, there is supply of bed capacity. in the country. And I do hope this is an impact that is felt by all of you in the business that you do operate in. Moving forward into 2026, what are the drivers we expect out of these areas, or rather the data? What the data is showing us, it's telling us that there's an opportunity in inbound travel, people coming into the country. They want to go for the safaris, they want to go for a bit of domestic tourism as well. It's happening. We've seen in the national parks and all that. We've seen as well there's an opportunity in the meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions, tourism as well. That is, we've seen an increase in that. So there's still an opportunity as well in that. Corporate travels as well. We've seen there people coming as groups as well, and going for these conferences and all that. And I think we as Britam, we are happy to support you in terms of even crafting solutions for some of these customers during their stay here. Being it a short-term stay, we are happy to come up with a product that best suits the market that you are in, and we're happy to have that discussion for further product development. And that is the essence of us working together with KATA. We create products that are meaningful to KATA members, and we're happy to do that. As George had said, moving into 2026, 2027, except some things to change. We've seen elections are coming 2027, and business is kind of affected in terms of revenue, in terms of operations. So I think it's really time for us to manage our business optimally so that we are not affected during that time. And I think if I speak from an insurance perspective, and it's a trend that I've seen in the last 3-4 months there, but I've seen a lot of customers purchasing political violence and terrorism covers just this time of the year. As you move forward to 2027, and you may never know, probably at renewal rate for next year, those rates might go up because we know what happens and the tension that is always created. So it's good for you to cover your business and have that cover in place as well. 2026, 2027, we've seen a lot of discussions happening with the government, especially on the mandatory inbound travel insurance. It's a discussion that has not fully materialized, but we expect to see a lot of activities coming in, which will obviously affect business and how we do operate in this ecosystem. I think that is it for me. Simon, back to you.
Thank you, Moses, for that brief and for highlighting the opportunities within the travel space. I think it's very clear that, of course, there are opportunities. The key factors that maybe travel players need to then note is based on George's presentation, and this one is that then 2026 presents a very good year for us to go aggressive in terms of pursuing these opportunities, because then when we get to 2027, things sort of slow down when it comes to the tourism side, when it comes to inbound, especially once you get to the second or third quarter, especially as political activities sort of start to increase. So I think this is the year. The writing is on the wall for us to go aggressive. Any travel agent, anyone within the business, for them to go aggressive this year to make sure that the decisions that they make for this year also sustain them going into 2027. Now, just to then present some of the solutions that we have at Britam. Just in a nutshell, we understand that anyone within the travel insurance space owns a business. They employ people. They could either have a team of what we call SMEs, MSMEs, or probably between 2 to 15, or they could be a big travel agent who then is being able to employ 20 plus numbers for that matter, and is also able to rake in some good revenue. As a business, it's important that you also look at the risk management element have been taken care of as a business, just to make sure that then as you drive and you pursue business, any risk that emerges has already been provided with some level of mitigation. So we shall highlight a number of solutions which we feel are very relevant to the travel ecosystem and KATA members, to be specific. And one of them is our business or a business solution, which we call Britam Biashara. It's a solution that pretty much covers your business, your travel agent. Some of these risks, people feel like they are far-fetched, especially when we talk about fire and floods. And considering that now we are moving into the rainy season, some of these risks are usually very important because sometimes people are caught off guard. Just last year, I think we had incidences of a lot of homes being flooded, especially within the Kitengela at the river area. And it's always good to have some mitigation levels. And it doesn't just provide for coverage for fire and floods. It can cover in case of theft of, items within your shop, laptops, phones, or any other essential assets that you have in the business. We're talking about also an element of extending protection to your employees. We've seen a lot of court cases, especially where employees go through some negative incidents. Then there's a lot of friction between the employer and the employee on the basis that there was no mitigation or solution that provided protection for that matter. So we have an end-suit product called Britam Biashara that can be able to take care of your business and still extend cover to the owner of the business and even the number of staff that have been employed within that travel business. And this would even extend to adding things like political violence and terrorism that my colleague Moses mentioned that are very critical, especially not that we are predicting gloom as we get into next year, but it's always good to protect your business in case some of this risk arises. So I would want to encourage you to get in touch with us. Let us insure your business. The premiums are quite for as low as 7,000 shillings. You can be able to protect your business for a full year. This is one of the solutions to protect your business and also the number of staff that you have. Then secondly, we know currently health is a key pain point, especially for a lot of us. And it's important to ensure that even as you have any other form of insurance, talking about Shire and others, that you also have maybe some private arrangement that can also be able to come in handy. Here at Britam, we have structured solutions both for the high end, you could say premium insurance, and we also have subsidized affordable health solution that we can also be able to extend to your businesses, to your staff, to your companies, to be able to provide protection from a health perspective. I just presented on one of my micro offerings called Bima ya Mwananchi. You can be able to get in an outpatient for just about 20,000 per year as an individual. And if you do it as a group, it would be much cheaper. We're talking probably about 15 to 17,000. And of course, affordable healthcare, when you talk about Bima ya Mwananchi, it does not give you access to the premium facilities. You talk about the Nairobi hospital, but it gives you access to the Tier 2 and Tier 3 hospitals that still provide affordable and quality education, sort of healthcare, but at a subsidized cost. So you can look at providing health solution at an affordable or micro level, or if you want then the premium solution, we still have that with our Milele offering that then gives you access to all the panel of hospitals that are available across the country. So we also encourage you, if you're looking for health solutions for yourself, for your staff, or to even cover a specific group of your families, we are happy to provide that solution for you. Third is pension. There has been a lot of changes recently, especially with pension, and I know within this month of February, staff are going to feel a bit of a pinch because the new rate for collection for Tier 2 will kick in this month of February. But even as that happens, we have a window to also be able to onboard your NSSF Tier 2 contributions and work with Britam as a viable partner to invest this fund. So we would want to reach out to you if you're looking for a viable partner to be able to look after these solutions. Our interest rates have been competitive. Last year, we declared an interest rate of 13% for our pensioners. So if you're looking for a transparent, reputable organization to also manage it, we welcome you to engage us as Britam to provide this solution for you. Then a lot of us, whenever we're in the travel business, we find ourselves at any one point, probably you have some funds. It's not that they don't have, we call them in investment free cash flows, or some funds which you have no immediate use for now, but probably they might be plugged into a certain project, or maybe you're organizing a certain group to travel in the next 3 or 4 months. But what happens with this money? Are you going to just take that money and put it in a bank account? No, we give solutions within our asset management wing where you can be able to maximize value and be able to earn competitive interest that can be able to maximize these funds. So whenever you have some money that has no immediate use for a period, let's say, for example, one month all the way to 12 months, we encourage you to come to us. We have a Britam Bond Plus solution, averaging last year an average rate of 11.48%. We can be able to maximize the return on your investment if you invest in our Bond Plus, as opposed to the funds sitting in an account not earning interest. And for that matter, we cut across both Kenya shillings and USD. If you're looking for something also a bit flexible in terms of accessing money, we still have a money market fund which is available both in US dollars and Kenya shillings. Our money market fund last year averaged 10.62%, and on the dollar one, we averaged 4.2% per annum in terms of return. So quite competitive in the market considering what is in the market. So if you're looking for a solution, you can be able to tap into these offerings. Then we also have our fixed income fund, which allows also you to fix funds, especially dollars, within a given period, which average 5.66%. So if you're looking for any solution and you have some extra funds, either for yourself as an individual, as a business, any funds that you would have that you feel you can be able to lock in somewhere for them to earn a specific and a competitive rate of interest, we have an ensuite of solutions that we can be able to expose to you to maximize on the return. So kindly feel free to reach out to us. Last but not least, I would want to mention that as most of us are within the travel space, Britam has really done a lot of work within the travel insurance proposition. We've moved from having manual sort of processes when it comes to travel, and we've made inroads in the last 2 years. Now we have a fully fledged travel portal, which any travel agent can be able to issue travel insurance on demand at the click of a button, all the way to issuing, making payments, or paying through credit, and be able to support your customers whenever they want to travel any part of the country. So I would want to welcome you to reach out to us. We set you up on our travel portal. If you want even to do an instant quote, you can go to our website where you can still be able to run a quotation and to it and be able to interact with our platform. But we are happy to set up a portal which then you can be able to use to track all the businesses that you do with Britam. You can also be able to be assigned a credit limit such that you don't always have to ask customers to pay upfront. We allow for some level of credit limit to enable you to serve your customers faster. So we would want to encourage all of you to get in touch with us so that we set you up, give you credentials to a travel portal, and we shall assure you of a good customer experience whenever you are engaging your customers on travel. At that point, I would want to just highlight that we've done a lot of work for KATA members, and CEO has alluded to some of the discussions that we are having in terms of tailor-making a product specific to KATA members. But we also felt like it would not be fair for us to come to this meeting without an icing or some bit of a teaser that we can be able to offer to KATA members. So We've agreed with our leadership that from today, once we have this webinar, this offer is effective up to 31st of March, so there's ample of time. So anyone who signs up on our solution, specific medical solution or one of the business solutions that we provided, we shall be able to provide a 5% discount of the standard premium. So we welcome you to come on board and partake this offering and be able to unlock this discount. So karibuni sana, we're looking forward to getting all of you signed up on our Britam solutions. At this point, I think we've come to the end of our presentation in terms of the content that we wanted to provide. We didn't want to extend this webinar for more than 1 hour, so we wanted to make it so that we have a bit of time to get some feedback from you. And then after that, we shall be able to ask a number of questions, which then we can be able to add the winners, and then we allow you to go back to your order of business. So I will pause at that point to open the session for questions. Feel free to post the questions, any question that you may have on chat, or you can be able to, you can even raise your hand or unmute your microphone and be able to ask any questions. They will provide for a brief window for that. So welcome. Any questions from members?
Hi, Simon. There were a few questions we had collected before as people were registering for the webinar. When we present, there are just a few. If you could be able to answer those.
Thanks, Felix, for this. Does Britam have an online travel? Felix, you can mute. So the first question, I think we've sort of answered it in our presentation. Does Britam have an online travel insurance policy issuing system? Yes, we do. We have access to our portal. Kindly get in touch with us for us to be able to set you up, you and your team, give you credentials to be able to be issuing travel policies on demand. I think the first one is answered. What are the cruise trend in the travel industry? I think for this one, I will ask one of my colleagues to respond. I'll ask my colleague Moses maybe to respond on that. As I read the rest, what packages do they have for businesses? I think we've already provided it some information on our Biashara solution that we have for businesses, and even for things like health and travel. We have some bespoke solutions that we have for businesses. Over and above the discount, we will be happy to engage whoever requested that question for us to be able to understand their needs and be able to provide maybe something that aligns to their needs. Then, do they have special packages for KATA members? I think we are working on something is in the works in terms of us working for maybe a tailor-made solution specific for KATA members. But for now, I think we've already given a bit of a teaser in terms of the discounted offering that we've extended from now all the way to end of March. I would encourage all of us to take advantage of that. I'm hoping by the time then we get to the second quarter, we'll have materialized on a bespoke tailor-made solution for KATA members. Moses, any sentiments on number 2?
Yeah, thank you, Simon. And I think what I've seen in terms of cruise, I've seen a lot of people venturing into that industry, people wanting to move into that industry. And we've seen a lot of corporates as well. We've seen a lot of corporates wanting to take their staff, or rather some incentive programs that are being done from that level. And we've seen a lot of loyalty in the experience. Once they do one, there's a bit of loyalty that builds into it. And I think I've seen a lot of young people venturing into that, especially people who want to just freelance and all that. Just to mention a few that at top of my head.
Okay, thanks for Moses for that. I think we can also maybe once we can get some also specific sort of deep dive into that segment and also be able to share with a bigger team. But as Moses has said, it's a new trend. I think people are looking for alternative packages. Just recently, even I think when we had some of our agents go for their annual excursion, I think most of them were sort of interested with having a cruise as opposed to just taking a flight and going. So it's tapping into a new segment in terms of options when it comes to travel, and providing people who want to go for a trip for a different feeling outside the traditional. But it's what I've seen. We have some specific agents who are specifically doing cruise travel here in Kenya. I believe some of them are members of KATA, but it's quite an interesting industry for that matter. Yeah, so I think that's okay, Felix?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay. Yes, Phyllis. We have I like the comments. I will request my team to respond, who are on the meeting, to respond on the chats as we continue. We'll pause there for the FAQs so that we can go to the next session. I think feel free to post any questions that you may have on the chat, so that at least my team can be able to respond accordingly to it. At this point, we would like to run. We had requested that all team members to be very keen and attentive in terms of the presentations that were being done. So we have a number of 4 questions, so we shall be able to award in each category for the 4 questions. We shall have a winner, and there are fantastic prizes that we will offer from Britam. So the trick is the fastest to drop the answer within the chat function will be the one who will be the winner. So Steffi and team, kindly keep tabs in terms of who will be the fastest to answer. So we'll proceed. We'll time it. You have 10 seconds to answer the questions. So the first question goes to the screen is 1. At what rate did the Kenyan economy grow in 2024? So that was something that George presented in the economic outlook. So kindly post on chat.
Simon, we already have responses sent. So
Okay.
George CTG was the first one to respond correctly.
Okay, super. George, you are the winner of the first Britam hamper. Then the second question, we shall go to the second question. What is Britam's purpose? I think this is one of the points I highlighted when I was doing the introduction to Britam. What's Britam's purpose? Steffi, do we have?
Yes, they're coming through. The first correctly answered, okay, I can't tell who this is. It's info. I have seen Prime Time Travel did respond the first one, but they got something wrong. They said safeguarding dreams and operations, but there's an info who's responded correctly. Safeguarding dreams and aspirations.
Okay, so info, you're the winner for the second question. You also win a Britam hamper. Please send us your details so that at least we can be able to get the hamper to you. Then the third question, which of Britam offerings is the best suited to protect a business? So we're looking for the name of the offerings that we presented when we went through the products.
Simon, we already have responses coming through. The first one to respond correctly is World Horizons Group with Britam Biashara.
Super. World Horizon Group, you are the winner of the third hamper. Now, last but not least, get ready for the last one. Is name one investment solution offered by Britam. The first one.
Responses have already come in. Again, the first person to respond is Oscar Anika with MMF Money Market Fund.
Okay, thank you, Oscar. Anika, please also share your details with us so that at least you're the winner of the hamper, so that at least we ensure we get it to you in good time. That's it we have for our quiz. Thank you for participating. We welcome you to get in touch with us and share with us feedback about this webinar. Give us feedback in terms of what you felt. Did it feature the content you wanted? Would request that you can scan the QR code and provide some feedback. We'll request for some of your details. Then we request that you would highlight any interesting any interesting in products that we featured, or any other special requests that you would have as far as any solution is concerned. And then once we have that feedback, we shall be able to work on it with the team and get back to you on the same. So I would want to take this opportunity to thank all of us for the good remarks, the good presentation. For the team from Britam, thank you, KATA, for giving us an opportunity to engage your members this morning. Thank you, KATA members, for coming for this webinar and also for participating in the same. At this point, I would want to hand it back to the KATA team, just so that they can be able to do the closure. We shall be able to share this presentation and also a link to the webinar, to the feedback questionnaire, so that you can also be able to give us insight. But feel free to scan it and be able to give us feedback. And if you can, do it now so that you don't forget later. Karibuni sana, and thank you for participating. Thanks. Back to you, Felix. I'll see you.
Thank you, Simon, for a great presentation. Thank you, members, for joining this webinar. It has been a great one, and we look forward to you safeguarding your business even further. We will proceed to share the presentation, and we have a recording of this webinar, so we will share that too. Thank you all, and have a good day ahead.